I'm Megan Waldrop, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast, an extension of an online community for partners to connect and feel less alone. Our podcast invites fishermen, family, friends, and supporters of the industry to learn, laugh, vent, and hear stories about this incredibly unique way of life. What do you say? Let's dive in. As you know, safety is one of our biggest concerns as partners of commercial fishermen. So if you or someone you know has been injured while working on the fishing vessel, you don't have to navigate it alone. Do you know your rights and what happens after an injury? Would you like proactive legal education before issues arise? Need expert guidance before making decisions that could impact your case? Attorney Michael Flynn has been fighting for injured fishermen for decades. And as a side note, we only partner with sponsors who genuinely care about commercial fishing families, which is why I'm proud to introduce Michael as a sponsor of the POCF community. You can contact him today for a consultation at flynnworkus.com. That's FLYNNWIRKUS.com. And tell him that the Partners of Commercial Fishermen sent you. Hey partners, I'm going to make this a quickie today, but I wanted to share it because it's a funny story. And also, this can help your relationship because this was something that helped me recently when I was having a emotional moment filled with hormones because I am perimenopausal, 43, proud to be alive, woman, hormone, emotional wave. Okay. I feel that you'll appreciate this. And even if you're a fisherman, a male fisherman, I know we got female fishermen out there, shout out, who are also partners too. Men, if you're listening, this can be helpful for you too, okay? This is just not for the ladies going through these changes because the couples go through them together, I've learned. So let me just start from the beginning. I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I sit in meditation, I do my PT exercises and yoga. That is my morning routine. That is my sacred time in the morning. So I'm doing all this and I leave my little meditation yoga room and I go to the kitchen and Chris is there because he's off season. And so I say, hey, he's making coffee. And today particularly, because I'm about to start my period too, I was feeling rage. I was feeling the emotional roller coaster of hormones. And so Chris was talking about that. And a side note, we recently bought another boat, or we bought a boat. We bought a pleasure boat. And I'm going to get into the story of how that all happened in another episode. But today was the day, or that day was going to be the day that we launched the boat for the first time. And we've been really excited about it. We couldn't wait. And, I see Chris and we were talking about the boat. I was like, all right, so we're going to launch today, like da-da-da. And then he's talking and I just look at him. I say, I just want to let you know, I have a lot of hormones going on right now and I'm doing my best, but I just wanted to let you know what's going on inside of me. So, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being open, but I wanted to share because I was definitely something where I was monitoring it in the best way possible of going, I am not my emotions. This is just a passing feeling, trying to figure out what foods would be more comforting to me. Am I going to have tea over coffee? I'm a decaf drinker anyway, but blah, blah, blah. Things you do in the moment to make sure that you are regulating yourself as much as you can. And also just to have ease and peace in your heart. Can I get an amen, a namaste, whatever makes you feel good, right? So then I'm making breakfast. I'm making oatmeal or whatever. I'm like cutting up my fruit to put in there. And then we get on the subject of the boat. And then again, we keep talking about the boat. And then he said, even though this is something I previously thought, he goes, do you feel that you're emotionally ready to get on the boat today? And just like hot anger, okay, floods my body. Because I'm feeling vulnerable and I'm feeling called out, even though that's something I'm really trying to like not make it seem like it's an issue for me or a challenge for me at that moment. And I just paused and I said, well, what makes you say that? And he goes, well, for the reasons that you just said, like you were saying that you're feeling, which I'm like, okay, that's valid, right? But I said, okay, well, I kind of snapped a little bit. I was like, I feel that you're using my vulnerability against me. I feel that I told you that I'm doing the best I can, and that's all I can do. And then we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and he said, well, I think he asked how I was feeling or something like that. And I said, I really don't know how to answer that right now. And I was just kind of, because honestly, I didn't know how to answer that. I didn't want to keep getting into an argument. Like, obviously, I didn't want to keep going. But I also, honestly, I didn't really know how I was feeling right then. So I didn't know how to explain it to him because I'm going through all these emotions. I can't even really explain it to myself. And so I said, I just don't know how to answer you right now. And he goes, okay, well, all you have to do is say, I don't know how to answer. And that's it. And I'm like, I just said that. Like, I didn't say that, but I wanted to be like, I just said that. And so I took a break and I said, okay, I'm going to go sit outside. So I sat outside and enjoyed my breakfast. It was by myself. Beautiful morning. It was actually cool here down south. I'm in North Carolina, and it was not balmy, humid. It was like actually beautiful outside. And I'm looking at the birds and I'm contemplating what we just talked about. And I have the emotions that I already had leading into this conversation. And then I also have a bit of anger now because we had that conversation while I was stirring my oatmeal, doing my best. There's one subject that we're constantly talking about, whether on the podcast or in our Partners of Commercial Fishermen community, and that is safety. And here's a hard truth. Did you know 8 out of 10 fishermen lost at sea weren't wearing a PFD? It's time to change that. At Kent Safety Products, they make life-saving gear designed for real fishermen. No bulk, no hassle. Just protection that works when you need it most. They also have the most Coast Guard approved PFDs on the market. So whether you're fishing in hot or cold environments, a fisherman can find one to fit their needs. And partners, let's just pause for a moment and think about how much it would ease stress to know that your fisherman is protected each time they go to sea. It's a lovely thought, right? And as a side note, we only partner with companies that have heart, those who truly want the best for our fishing communities and have high quality products. That's why I am proud to have Kent Safety Products as a sponsor. Visit KentSafetyProducts.com and find the right PFD for you and your fishermen. That's KentSafetyProducts.com. And I started crying while simultaneously laughing my butt off. Like, I have not laughed that hard in so long. Tears streaming down my face from like, not just funny, but like just like all the emotions that made me even laugh even more. Cause I'm just constantly thinking about, bless his heart, and every man who came before him and every woman that has gone through this and not knowing how to express ourselves, and just thinking about generations of people who have gone through this, both sides of the street. You know what I mean? Like the actual woman and then the partner going through it or not going through it, whatever. And I can't even imagine too. I'd love to talk to a same-sex couple female to see what it's like to both go through menopause. Maybe actually it might be more compassionate, to be honest with you. Maybe there is more of an understanding. I don't know. If anybody out there would love to share that, I would be so honored to learn and for us to share that story, because I feel like, let's talk about it. Let's normalize this conversation. However, let's go back to me bawling ass, crying and laughing at the same time while there are, cardinals flying around and squirrels. And I'm thinking about my friend's husband who said that he asked his dad, how do I handle when my wife goes through this? And the dad said, run and hide. And that just made me crack up even more, because I'm like, that's like the worst advice ever. Oh, this was another thing that really pissed me off. I'm sorry. I got to share it. While I was stirring my oatmeal, and I kind of said, I don't appreciate, I feel like you're using my vulnerability against me. And he goes, okay, hold on a moment. Like he said, like I could hear him want to say, calm down. And you know that you do not tell a woman that. And you definitely do not tell a half Puerto Rican woman that, because she will get Puerto Rican on your ass if she cannot control herself. But that was also why I was out there crying and laughing, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm feeling all these emotions. I'm also thinking of like these poor innocent partners who aren't going through menopause and what they have to go through. And then I'm just thinking, obviously the women, like, how do we handle this? Like, how do I continue this conversation with Chris? Because I want to squash it. I don't know if that's the right word. I want to grow through this conversation together and move forward, because this won't be the last time that I will have these feelings towards not towards, but just inside of my body, let alone feelings that I'm trying to monitor to my partner. And so as I'm crying and laughing and, looking hilarious, I can't even imagine if someone could see me in my backyard, like what they're thinking, like what is going on? But at that moment, I wasn't even trying to control myself. I wanted to let them all out because they were definitely all inside. I'm like, how do I just let them all out? It was everything I could express at once. So then I gather my shiz. I think about it more deeply, thinking about how I'm going to have this conversation with him. Okay, so I go back inside and I take him by the hands. He's looking at me and he's being present, and I really do appreciate that. And I said, listen, I want to say that I don't understand what's going on. I've never experienced this before. I've never gone through perimenopause or menopause before. We're going to both go on this adventure together. I realize that this is new to both of us. And there's going to be moments where I don't know how to explain how I'm feeling, because I honestly am experiencing them in real time and I'm still trying to digest everything. And so when I tell you, and I'm being vulnerable and I'm saying, listen, I'm going through a lot of hormonal changes right now in this moment, and I'm doing my best. Please take that as face value that I'm doing my best. And also that I know my limitations. And if there's something moving forward that I feel like I can't do, I won't do it. And I'll let you know. I'll say, listen, you know what? This isn't a good day for me to get on the boat, or this isn't a good day for me to do X, Y, and Z. But I'll let you know. And I just want to say that I love you and I appreciate you being here and listening to me right now, because this is something that this is an adventure for both of us, and having this conversation, just making everything easier. And it was a really sweet moment and we were able to move past it. And I wanted to share that in case this is helpful. I am 100% not saying that we have all the answers. Clearly, we do not. I'm just sharing what worked for us in that moment. And if you're ever having the feelings of like, what the hell is going on? I am feeling a spectrum, a rainbow of feelings, emotions. I don't know how to control them. I encourage you to go by yourself and laugh your ass off, or cry your ass off, or scream, whatever you got to do to just get them out. And not even like get them out, like not be like they're bad, just like release them. They're coming to the surface. And once they're out, it's going to feel so much better. Let me tell you, the rest of my day was wonderful. I didn't have this feeling of resentment towards Chris. I didn't have this feeling of resentment towards my body or any kind of shame. It was just an acceptance and awareness, and letting them feel what they need to feel. And also having a conversation with your partner, literally saying like, this is new for me. And I know this is new for you, because I did want to be sensitive to the fact that he doesn't know. How the hell is he going to know what's going on when I'm still trying to figure out what's going on in my own body? So I feel like I should call this episode a hot flash. The hot flash couple tips for getting through moments of perimenopause. This is a quickie. I felt that I wanted to share with y'all because it was hilarious. I've only told my sister, and now you. So thanks. Thanks for listening. If you ever feel that you're alone in the perimenopausal journey, I'm talking about women and men, you're not. We are all here. Everybody has felt all of the feelings and more for thousands and bajillion years since people have been alive. Actually, I don't know, because were people even living long enough to have menopause back in the day? It's a little food for thought there. But you're not alone. Honestly, I would love to know too, if you have any tips, any hot tips, DM me at Megan Waldrop I'm going to start over. You can DM me on Instagram at Megan.Waldrop. Or you can email me at support@POCFpride.com. If there's an expert on menopause or anybody who has experience, whether you are a POCF or maybe you're in the medical field and are open to sharing any kind of stories or tips or advice, I welcome you to come on, please. The platform is here. It is for you. It is for us. let's figure out how we can get through this, because not how to get through this, how to go through it and not feel like, oh God, menopause. Like, that's the last thing I want. I do not want that for anybody to be like, oh God, next 20 years, here we go. It's like, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. This life is too precious and too amazing to feel like we're in jail for the next 20 years. There are ways to get through it. And I'm sure my story might change over the years of obviously the intensity, what's going on. And guess what? I will be happy to share it with you if you're wanting to listen. Let's just keep the convo going. I really appreciate that we could talk about such intimate, vulnerable things on this podcast, whether it's talking about boat safety, finances, what's going on in our bodies as females, and really it's the mental wellness about being a partner of a commercial fisherman. We need to make sure that we're feeling supported on all levels. And I feel that sharing these real stories is going to help us all feel less alone no matter what. And that's what it's all about. So with love and POCF pride, y'all. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening. To support our community, I'd so appreciate it if you'd tap the subscribe button to this podcast or write a review. And if you're a POCF who wants to connect further, go to POCFpride.com for weekly vlogs and to learn about opportunities to join our private communities. We'd love to have you.